If all eyes are on you, there's nothing more important than controlling the narrative. People tend to find it easiest to defend the opinion they already have, the story they already know. With that said, I reached out to the High Vessel. If I am to come out on top of this brutish Endirian swipe for control and power, I need my own realm behind me. In addition, being the target of another realm's power play may help me gain power in my own right. And so, after a slightly long wait, she eventually stepped aside to speak with me.
Atticus,
Yes?
what do I smell like?
I'm not the one to ask for this.
We're asking you because you have no obligations to friendship to not be honest.
Frankly, I'm not sure how to take that.
Well, Fiore and Ophelia are very close, and I think Fiore would, if Ophelia
If I
smelled bad,
smelled
I don't think
bad,
she
she'd
did.
lie.
Yeah.
But the High Vessel smells like lavender, and I want to know what I smell like.
Fine.
You're okay. It's a protective
Sorry.
circle.
Dry grass.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Not in a positive way, unfortunately.
Oh.
I don't mean to offend, I just...
You work with dry herbs all the time.
That's true. I work with a lot of tea and... Get out of here. So annoying.
Okay. Well, I do believe that I have a conversation I'm supposed to have. So.
Oh, yes, I'm retiring. Thank you for your
Okay.
honesty. For candor, or whatever the term is. Good night. This was eventful.
night.
We should have a meeting soon.
Yes. Be safe. All
I
the
will.
things.
Bye.
Bye. Are you okay if Arlo joins, or would you prefer to speak alone?
That should be fine.
Come in. Come in.
Not sure exactly how to start. Suppose the first matter that I have jotted down here.
Mhm.
The Endirian Kingdom. I'm not sure if they have written you already regarding the Stronghold that I reside in. But
They
that's
have.
been a particular issue, and I don't exactly trust them to give you the full truth.
Right.
To, I suppose, begin from the top. Some time ago, I'm not exactly sure an exact number. I happened upon a stronghold in a cave beneath one of my outposts. I wasn't sure exactly what it was. I hadn't seen anything like it before. However, I ended up showing it to someone that I'd bumped into that ended up being an Endirian. You may be familiar with them, Sundew.
Vaguely.
The blacksmith.
Correct. However, after that they escalated things, I believe, under a standard Endirian loyalty to their military. And after that, I was pressed by, I believe, a few of their officials, although I never quite caught a name out of the ones that I met with. They demanded to see a certain room, but I was hesitant to bring them around, given at the point in time, it was still, even in present, it is directly underneath one of my outposts, and
I believe that I have a right to privacy on that.
You do.
And given that, while it may be a Endirian stronghold, it's still within overworld domain. And so I don't believe that particularly gives them a right either. So,
Especially within your home. I see the train of thought.
well, it hadn't quite been yet, but regardless, well, the stronghold at least.
Mm.
Things tapered off briefly, but I had been offered by Sundew a tour of the Endirian kingdom before, well, any of the stronghold matters came up, and I decided to try and ease things by seeing if the offer still stood. The same officials that had pressed me for the location of the stronghold, or to tour around to this, what I learned was a portal room, took me on a tour with Sundew. During this time, they did not bring up any questions regarding it. They did not discuss it, even remotely. So I was under the belief, especially after further discussion with Sundew, that this would not be any concern, that it was perhaps something momentary and to be forgotten about. So, with that security, I then decided to retrofit the stronghold into a home for myself. The amount of cleanup that had to be done, mind you, was impressive, to say the least. I believe most of it, if not all, was either damaged beyond repair and had to be sealed off, or mossed over. It's evident that it has not been touched in quite a long while. However, recently, I'd say within the last week, the issue came back up. I received a missive from Sundew telling me to meet at the Overworld Castle. I arrived, and I was greeted by her and 3 other Endirian officials. I'm not exactly sure names, besides, I believe, Zach, if that sounds correct. I believe I've bumped into him at the Adventure Guild. By this
A
point,
night.
since I had still continued to have a back-of-mind worry regarding the portal, I had begun looking into solutions of my own, and I was wishing to get a finality on it. So it wasn't even particularly uninvited to have another discussion, but I want to clarify I was willing to approach it with civility, and I believe I did. Instead, however, the Endirian officials applied pressure, more than I think would quite ever be necessary, frankly.
And you were alone.
Alone, yes.
So this was a situation where there were, 4 others speaking
Correct.
to you?
4
Okay.
Endirians, 3 of them being members of, I believe, their court,
Interesting.
demanding to see it at the exact moments they can handle destruction, despite me bringing up to them that I wish to handle things officially at a point. Now that it had become my home, I wouldn't necessarily trust to invite them in.
That's understandable.
I wanted time to look into it myself first. As I mentioned, I was already looking to methodology to destroy the portal. Again, I am under the belief, as a private overworld citizen, I cannot be ordered by Endirian officials, especially with no word from my crown.
Not in your world, no.
Exactly. However, one of the officials that I have yet to get a name on, I may be able to describe them if need be, but they instead resorted to antagonizing me. In specific, one of the main elements I remember, they called special attention to the fact that I was a Wolfkin, that they wouldn't trust, especially a Wolfkin.
And what is wrong with Wolfkins?
Precisely. And alleged that she knew what I did, which is something that I will revisit later. It's the same official that, upon me saying that I would like to further look into destroying it myself, suggested I use a simple pickaxe. Mind you, this is the first thing that I tried, given that you're attempting to break something of stone, then a pickaxe is the first option. I'm not sure how much experience you have with strongholds or their portals, but you'll find the frames are quite indestructible, at least by conventional means. However, she, again, suggested nothing more than a pickaxe, and while she was corrected quickly thereafter by another official, it's very interesting to me that she comes off with such hostility despite not knowing her own subject matter.
Can you describe her?
Blindfold, I believe, lighter purplish hair.
Rowena.
Likely. So far we've got Sundew, Zach, Rowena.
There was another one with glasses. Not sure much past that. He was quite quiet, didn't give me much to work off of.
White hair.
Vincent. Mhm.
Perhaps I
The advisor.
didn't look much at him, frankly. Again, he
Skylar wouldn't have been quiet,
represent-
and Skylar's the only one that I know. I mean, Amma also wears glasses occasionally, but Amma's also not as quiet.
It would have been obvious if they were Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine. But with that standing where it was, I decided to leave. I declared that I wasn't going to give it any further mind until I could discuss with you. And especially with the hostility that they had created in the air, I was not willing to stick around much longer.
That's your right. Unfortunately, I don't have a clean-cut answer for this situation, as the portals and strongholds are not clearly defined in at least our laws, but the right to privacy and private dwellings stands to reason, and speaking with a citizen of mine without going through me first, regardless of how long I take to get back to messages, is interesting.
It's worth noting the portal, at least in my personal stronghold, has been destroyed by request of the associate I mentioned, Sundew. Well, I
You'll
was...
have to excuse me for my candor here, Atticus. It sounds as though your friend, not friend, associate, set you up for failure.
Yes,
You-
upon further retrospect, I do agree. It was shortly after the meeting we met and they had an emotional stance on it and I allowed myself to be swayed. I still, in recent exploration, have found at least 2 strongholds, so if we need that leverage, we have it. The portals are intact. I'm afraid my discussion regarding the Endearing Kingdom in general and that interaction with the Stronghold is not exactly where things stop for me. You said
Well-
Rowena had
Yes.
mentioned knowing what I've done,
Mm.
and I requested to know what exactly I've done because besides moving into a stronghold and trying to make a comfortable living for myself, I don't believe I've done much of anything.
Right.
What they described, Rowena and I believe Zach, I know the Vincent, I believe, chipped in as well. They alleged that at some point I had given Jira, a bar owner in the end, a sizable donation of, how do I put it, many different kinds of valuable blocks and a banner of some form. They
Interesting.
had to, worth note, remind me who Jira even was.
Mhm.
I've only met with them once after, what was it?
The ball.
The ball, yes, we had the after party at the bar.
Limbo.
Yes.
Okay.
At that time, I don't believe I would have had enough resources spare to commit to any sizable donation. I don't believe Stronghold was even up and around yet. That was my primary focus, was and is getting it to be safe and secure. I haven't focused much on resource gathering, at least not to any scale to share around valuable blocks, especially at the time of the ball. I know recently, after the interaction, I've begun stockpiling more, and so perhaps now I would be able, but I don't understand any time frame that this would have been able to happen.
Was it just a random banner, or did it mean anything?
They described that it had letters on it, which, frankly, to come off in full honesty, I'm not very familiar with your written language, I hear. My father only has taught me my native Wolfkin written language. So, well, I'm not sure exactly what letters they believe are written on this banner, but I wouldn't be able to. If it's any sort of word or phrase or symbol. And regardless, it would be the least of my concerns to start working on art pieces or banners. I wouldn't know the first thing about putting designs together, mind you. Closest I've come to coloring anything is dyeing my carpets, and even then it took a lot of trial and error to find the right material to even stick to the threads.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure exactly where the narrative came from. I'm not sure exactly what they even mean to allege. As it stands, all I know is that I've given a banner, supposedly, and blocks of valuable resources. However, given the tone in which Rowena brought it up, I can't imagine it's anything positive. Further, I'm not sure why Juro or any of them would have such a reason besides the Stronghold to start putting out such bold-faced lies about me. But what does matter to me is that they are around and about. My only assumptions would be that I haven't exactly made many friends, as may be evident. Socialization is not my strong suit. I understand I can come off as cold and harsh, even if I don't intend to do so all of the time. That, combined with my Wolfkin origin that Rowena already brought attention to, I worry that I could be an easy scapegoat for someone else's criminal actions.
I actually have a tendency to agree. This is not the first interaction of what would you call it? Law breaking? Uh, mischief we've heard of from Jura, and I understandably have been trying to achieve something of massive proportions, chose to sweep it under the rug. But I do think that in this situation, as you said, you kind of have been made out to be somewhat of a scapegoat, and unfortunately, that is just something that I will not stand for.
Hence, my primary purpose for calling the meeting with you, besides informing you.
Hmm.
I would like to request that whatever processes remain for my knighting are expedited.
Of course.
Frankly, I'm
I know
terrified.
that you... Yes, I know that you had many questions, and I know that there's a lot of history of mistrust between Shrieklings and Wolfkins. I do have some information I think you might find useful.
Of course.
If you'll give me one moment, I will be right back.
Very well.
The Endarian court should have came to us about the matter.
I
They
agree.
shouldn't have attacked you.
I apologize that I did not bring it up sooner. Like I said, well, it remained a persistent worry at the back of my mind. I had hoped that it was a paranoia, as I've been told I have.
Dendarians can come off strong at times.
There's coming off strong, and there's blatant disregard for others. I believe that I can come off strong sometimes. I believe I've stepped on some feet unintentionally at times. However, there's a difference between that and Rowena.
Yeah.
This is not something that I ever wished to have to do. I am protective of those around me, yourself included, funnily enough. But I think it would ease your mind to know some history behind some of the things that I think trouble you.
You'll have to pardon me, but again,
I can read
not-
it. I
Thank
can
you.
read it to you. This is the contract that pretty much signed Wolfkin's rights into the war. And I wanted to make you aware of whose signature is on it. Because as much as it is easy enough to blame those around us, the signatory on this comes from within the Wolfkin origin. This is signed by Morana and Connell Willowbeak.
Can't say I've heard the name.
Lord Page Willowbeak, one of the Wolfkins that resides here in the overworld since the war has passed. It was her family that signed the Wolfkin contract for all of Wolfkinkind. And I can't say that I agree with it. I can't say that it would have ever been something that I would have issued to be signed myself in the first place. But the blame does not lie solely on Shriekling's shoulders, nor does it lie in Page's shoulders. It did start from Wolfkin's to begin with, though.
I appreciate you telling me this.
I have been sitting on it for quite some time because I didn't want to put targets on anybody's back. But I know that it is something that, given your questions you've had for me, seems to trouble you specifically. I will always have my citizens at the forefront of my mind. The way that you have been spoken to by another kingdom is not okay with me, and I will be addressing it, I believe, later this week, actually.
Very well. I believe I still have a bit prepared if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
I've lived in caves and hovels for the last 15 years of my life. And I fear that the moment I've made myself a home, the moment I've placed safe four walls around myself, as we all agree, I'm seemingly being targeted for it. Rowena's blatant disregard and distaste for Wolfkin, the narrative being formed around me by Jura, whether... I'm unsure what exactly the full extent of it is. The pressure to bring foreign emissaries into my own home makes me uneasy, and I worry that it won't stop there. I worry that I could be made an example or simply rolled over by them, as they already have attempted. I'm worried if they continue to try and work around you, we could end up. However, as I was saying, I believe if we fast-track my knight status, it may be an actual pressure against them. No longer would they be able to simply push around and bully a citizen. but they would have to fight directly against the court. It could give the both of us leverage. I understand it's not perhaps conventional, and I understand that it may not be a decision that comes immediately or lightly, but I did want to at least plant the idea. As we both agree, I believe that the extent that this has already been taken to is unacceptable. And perhaps my thoughts are clouded with my own upset, but I don't think that this can be let go at the current moment in time. I've trusted you thus far, in that you do believe in true steps towards change. I believe that this is a true chance to prove it. To stand up for the unrepresented in your kingdom, to show the Endirians that they cannot so easily step in and start calling shots in your realm. To show them that you stand strong for all origins, and that the overworld's previous differences and biases are no longer a vector that they can attack. That is all that I have prepared, at least.
I do intend to fast track your knighthood. I'm not prepared currently.
Of course.
However, I hope that it also eases your mind to know that all of my options for heir are wolfkins, and you will be fighting as a knight side by side with Oliver, who is also a wolfkin. If they're going to target wolfkins specifically, they're going to have a hell of a time, because once I fall, this kingdom goes to wolfkins. So they will either have to accept it, or there will be war. And
Right. I don't mean to even imply that I wish to go to war with this, but...
No, I don't think that anyone does, but you do not get to pick one origin out of, what is there, 9 that we are aware of in all of the realms combined to hate on specifically. If they're going to have a problem with wolfkins specifically, then they're going to have a hell of a time.
Just bewilders me to immediately delve into such matters so closely after the war.
I agree.
Well,
I know that there has been fears of goblins being around, and I think that has everyone stirred up, but without...
my worry, I know that the Endirian kingdom can be quite militaristic. And so I almost wonder if it could be a deliberate action by them to corner in on the Wolfkin or whatever avenue they have. Everything has been thrown asunder by the war and even outstanding after it. A power-hungry kingdom with the militaristic, loyal citizens to back it up could certainly seize the openings created or the instability.
And I have to apologize for my part being played in that instability. This kingdom for generations has been ran by one origin, and that has not created a strong ground to stand on when it comes to assuring that all people within this realm are safe. But that is precisely the changes that I seek to make. So you, believe it or not, are an integral part of that. And coming to me with your honesty and desire, truly, actually helps that cause.
I believe as I put forward in our second meeting, given that the first didn't exactly go well, in our second meeting, I hope to bring you anything that can help. I understand that change isn't made unless voices can be heard.
Exactly. And I hope that I've given you the proper platform to have a voice.
Yes.
To be less formal, I have your back, and I will always have your back. And even if you are in trouble with me, that is behind closed doors, and if somebody else tries to intervene, they can deal with me.
I'd like to show you both to the Stronghold, and I can direct you to the other two so that you may have them.
I would appreciate that.
Before all of this, it came back into a uncertain spotlight. I was actually planning to invite, well, at least yourself and the knights, but with an open invite to the rest of your court or anyone that you saw fit for a informal, formal dinner party.
Oh,
It's a bit out of my comfort zone, however, I wanted to open the floor for, I suppose, more peace or normalcy.
hmm.
I believe you need to pick me up. I'll come back for you, Arlo.
Are you okay with that?
Just make it quick. It's a little bit crowded in here for temporary storage. I'll be right back. There you go.
Do I have your consent?
Make it quick. Welcome in.
Thank you.
There are certainly still some work in progress areas. I haven't exactly figured out storage, as you might be able to see by the assortment back there. However,
It's lovely, though.
I like what you've done to the place.
You can see where I wasn't able to reach the shape that it was left in. The moss, the cracked bricks, like.
Oh wow.
If you are ever in need of help, you need only ask. I'm sure we would
Of course.
be delighted to come and assist.
I believe most of my remaining work is minor, thankfully. Over here is a personal study of mine.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's where, for, I suppose, clarification to you, the associate I keep bringing up, Sundew, she helped with our correspondence back and forth.
I think, and you can tell me I'm overstepping. I think it would be wise to maybe create some distance between yourself and this Sundew.
I've considered it, and I believe she's already doing the same. However, I believe also that if we are to be in tension with the Enderians, then it may still be wise to try to keep an ally. Might be a little more deceitful, I understand, but
I suppose that's also true.
this is a little more barren, but blacksmith
Still.
work area.
I don't wish to see your allies misconstrue you to be the villain.
Of course.
If that makes sense.
Take advantage.
Yes.
It's something I'm much aware of, and should we continue any contact, I am certainly putting a limiter on it. This would be the, dining room. It's not currently very stocked, but I would like to have a assortment of wines ready.
Oh, it's lovely, though, just as the rest of the dwelling has been.
I've tried my best, certainly. This way should be the library.
Hmm.
Should any of
You know?
these books be useful to you, feel free.
Eventually, I would love to be able to read the language that they are in. Currently, I would not know if they were useful or not.
I believe the books are still a general enough use. Usually you can
Oh,
pick up a certain
these
aura
are-
to them.
you have started quite the lovely collection.
I've done my best.
Oh, see, this is something that I need.
You
have
don't
one of
already have
these.
one of these set up?
No, I go to Oliver typically for most of my needs in this area, and Ophelia extends beyond what Oliver cannot accomplish.
I believe Pyra had one.
Possibly. That would make sense, considering sorceress and librarian.
This is entirely unrelated. I forgot I had this stashed away. I was
Oh, thank you.
prepared to
Um,
try and at least ease the tone of our meeting.
On this topic, once upon a time, you gave me stuffed potatoes, I believe it was. I would love to know what you prefer so that I could potentially feed you when it calls for it.
I am not sure. I tend to stick to the more basic meats, but I've
Mm.
started to try and broaden my horizons, just in, I suppose, the desire to level out with people. Like I
Mm.
said, I would like to host that dinner party. Hopefully, maybe when this all blows over.
Yeah. I spend an ungodly amount of time in the kitchen and would love to be able to support you in whatever way I could, even if that means sending you food.
I appreciate it. I've recently
Mhm.
actually gotten a mailbox, so
Oh, yay!
the opportunity's open now. Regardless, I'm attempting to broaden my horizons for right now, just in order to be able to taste what I actually cook or brew or bake.
Of course.
I wouldn't want to invite you all over and cook and have it be,
Soggy lettuce.
of course. So I'm attempting to broaden my horizons to the more
Mm.
finer things.
That kind of culture takes time.
Naturally.
I would get lost in these walls, not gonna lie.
Having
I
to
also would.
navigate them so often has certainly assisted that. This is my own private room. I'm not sure
Oh,
it's anything to write about, but I tried mimicking what I've seen out of others.
it's beautiful. And it looks comfortable.
I've made do.
I like the little nest you got going on.
Yeah, it looks cozy. It looks like it would make the best pillow forts.
It would.
Pillow forts. Can't say
Mhm.
I'm familiar with it, but
You've never made a pillow fort?
no, this is one of the first times I suppose I've had a pillow.
We're gonna make pillow forts, Atticus.
Very well. Suppose the only area left that's properly furnished would be the pantry. It will certainly not be much of a finale, but
That's okay. The pantry was arguably one of my favorite rooms in any house.
yeah.
Us.
A bit claustrophobic, but
Yeah. Considering what it's for, I wish I had this much space. I have an open space under the kitchen that just houses all of the things, but it's not as organized as this
already
is
I feel that
shaping up
I'm
to be.
running out of space, but we'll see how exactly that develops. If there's any
You're-
resource here that you do need, feel free.
Oh.
An honor.
I believe that I'm probably okay, but I appreciate it.
Understandable.
If you are anything like myself, I tend to keep everything I hold on to, and that can
There is-
definitely get precarious for storage solutions.
Right.
Oh, you changed the dragon heads to wolf heads. Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, those are cute!
That is admittedly the one artful thing, but it took, I believe, about a full day's worth of work to have something that looked remotely okay and then mimicking it across the others. I'm much better with my hands than, I suppose, my mind's eye.
That's fair.
We are our
Yes.
own worst critic, also.
Hmm.
So,
The turn of
I'm
phrase.
sure all of the art you create is lovely.
Thank you. There is one more thing I can show you too. We'll just need to be careful. S- Currently, the only person to have seen the destroyed portal is Sundew. But if you're up to bat on my side, then I suppose you should see it too.
Does Sundew have your waystone?
Not anymore, no.
Good.
This is the area that it was.
Well, with it being destroyed, they have no reason to press you any further, and should they try, I will
Of
intervene.
course. After you, I'll seal it up behind us. And then, of course, I can show you to the other two that I've found with portals still intact, should they be of any usage to you. I have no attachment to the actual grounds themselves, so should it be fit to destroy them, then...
Well, what
be-
the Endarians might not realize is, yes, it gives our people access to the end. It also gives their people access to us.
Correct,
And
they...
that is just as precarious.
They have their own portals.
Precisely. That's one of my thoughts, is I'm not sure exactly... They cited that the Endarian law gave them jurisdiction over these strongholds, and
Not
I
on
haven't
overworld
exactly
grounds.
read up on the law myself too well, but I couldn't fight back against that with facts I do not have. Regardless, I don't believe that the overworld has ever placed strongholds within the End's grounds.
They are still very much overworld property. Once you cross over into them, I can see that being considered Endarian property, but overworld
Exactly.
property still remains overworld property.
My general line of thought is that we've never set up encampments in their realm and demanded the right to them. So I
Exactly.
don't believe they should be able to either.
I think the overworld being a middle ground for the war has given people,
An entitlement.
yes, an entitlement to think that all grounds are free access. They even struggled when I put a toll on coming here to start with. And yes, we do have more ample means to gather resources. Our land is still our land, and our citizens still have right to privacy and safety,
Right.
as it were.
I see nothing in the Endarian law book about the strongholds.
There's nothing in our law book either, so that will have to be...
So it would simply fall into the same grounds that any property in the overworld would have.
Exactly.
I can take you to the other stronghold. Whichever wants to go first.
Oh, sorry.
I'll go Grappallo. Feel free to grab this waystone, yes.
I did. I did not grab your personal waystone, but I did grab that one.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see
What?
here, this is the intact portal, and
What was used to break yours?
they listed mushrooms, and shockingly, that is the
Oh,
proper way to do so.
they grew
What?
mushrooms on top of the portal.
Oh,
I had a piece of
Interesting.
dirt underneath, and then bone milling a mushroom to hyper-accelerate its growth. Broke through.
interesting. I'm not opposed to breaking these, just for the sake of stopping continued issues.
The way I saw mine is, or I suppose was, leverage should I need it.
You are correct. Are
Here
you
it is.
familiar with what an eternal portal is?
No, I can't say I am.
Okay.
But I viewed mine as a leverage. It was something that they wanted gone and something that I had and had control over, so...
Hmm.
I never quite was able to then use that, but... I again figure that if they want it gone, then there's something that you would be able to get out of it. Whether it be more open trade, say. I'm not exactly into any inter-realm politic, but
That is an interesting line of thought. I had never thought of it like that.
all I imagine is that if they want these gone, it's still on your domain. They placed them here. I'm not sure if, since there's no documentation in any law book, if there was any formal agreement or if they just placed these here in the chaos of war. Perhaps it should not go so easily. Take you to the other one. This one's a little more enclosed.
Oh.
Alright, I believe... Which way? Yes, right along here.
Oh.
Another one.
Well, none of them are activated, which is good. Gives them less fuss.
Precisely.
How do you stumble upon these?
Hmm?
How do you stumble upon these? Like, were
As
you
I've
actively
been
looking for them?
exploring and caving, I actively try to dip myself underground. I found... Are you familiar with Illager hideouts?
Yes.
They have quite a lot of resources, and given that they keep prisoners of villagers and other creatures, I find it right to liberate and take, and so in my hunt for those, I've found both of these.
I see.
Should it
Do you
be
think
deemed
there's
necessary, I can try to look out for more of these, but
Yes, that's what I was just questioning, is if we think there is more, I would appreciate keeping an eye out for them.
of course.
I can see them being a point of contention.
They already are.
Yes. And I'm curious if it was the portal that was the point of contention, or the fact that it was somewhere you chose to make a dwelling.
Probably
Like
a
you
mix
said,
of
there's-
both.
Yes, like you said, there's an entitlement involved that I feel like maybe there was a they felt threatened, potentially.
Perhaps. I will meet you two back at the Overworld Castle so we don't have to discuss in the dark.
I apologize. I forget that we have permanent night vision, and
Ah,
I believe from what Oliver has told me, he has the ability to.
yes, this
Sort
wolf
of
can have
turn himself.
similar, but
Yes.
I prefer still to be somewhere safe. At least I'm not sure
Yeah.
the security or safety of those strongholds, and I wouldn't wish to put either of you at risk.
Thank you for
course.
everything.
I appreciate your listening ears
Of course.
and the insight provided. Everything, frankly.
Mm. I know that things are fragile and delicate currently. I think we were all raised in a time where trust was hard to come by, but I think we are stronger, unified.
I agree.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what is your history in battle? What is your fighting style? What armor do you possess?
Well, I've never been engaged in battle with anything sentient. I
Okay.
wasn't around for the war. My father shielded me from it. However,
Good.
I have extensive hunting experience. We ducked from quite a lot of places and had to fend for ourselves.
Do you have a preferred weapon?
Currently, I've just been using this, but it has been brought up to me that there are many other options. This is just what my father had me accustomed to. So I wouldn't be opposed to exploring options.
Okay. Arlo and I are both long range,
Hmm.
I guess it would be considered. We're both more proficient with enemies stationed away from us, but there are certain fighting styles where they are more comfortable running in closely.
Right. I
or
suppose I'd be more akin with that. Being able to charge in and rely solely on instinct, I suppose.
I will work on getting you a care package put together and possibly even getting you and Oliver and Arlo together and training, possibly.
That would be great.
Mhm.
You did ask about armor. I recently traded with an Etherean for netherite.
Okay, that's better than nothing.
I believe the armor that I have is quite well enchanted, so I should hopefully be well protected, but I'm not sure.
Do you have protection 4 at the very least?
Yes.
Good, good. Oh, I don't know if you know much of crystallians, but I hear they possess an ability that is rather lethal to anything under protection 4, and I do not wish to see that, so.
Is it something akin to a horrible with names, the dry grass lady, the beam?
Ophelia.
Ophelia.
Ophelia, is it something similar to her beam?
Well, her beam is actually magic, so I think anybody that is comfortable with using magic is capable of wielding such a thing, but no, it is actually more akin to taking your fighting style and amplifying it. They,
It's like a love
from what,
tap.
yeah, well, oh.
Simply that amount of power behind a singular tap?
Yes.
I would watch out for crystallians. at least have a totem on hand around.
Do you
I
have
carry
totems?
two.
Good.
Yes, the illager hideouts that I mentioned have given me quite a stockpile.
Good.
Should
I
either of
will-
you need any or anyone else in the court, let me know. I don't have a surplus of any grand scale, but I can certainly provide a few if necessary.
I have a lot already.
I have quite a few. However, it does not hurt to have options open to procuring more. I do believe that there are easier solutions than pillager hideouts.
Most likely.
But that's all things that we can work out as knighthood goes on. We're just now really developing a solitary court, as it might have been obvious when I first was coronated. The court was pretty much in shambles. My mother did not prefer to work with anyone outside of the Shrieking origin, and many Shrieklings were lost to the war. So I've been assembling my own based on my own instincts. So
I suppose on that topic, as a final parting discussion,
Hmm.
do you have anyone in mind for the Wolfkin part of the Triquetra? Given what you've said about Paige tonight, I'm not sure if her family would be the best to place in that position.
No.
And I don't mean to put myself there, but I believe that often those that seek power can do so for the wrong reasons.
I agree. Currently, Oliver stands in that position, but I do believe that more voices is never a bad thing when it comes to balancing inequality.
I would like
So-
to, I suppose, I'm not sure if my word here would have any bounds, but Viore would be a good candidate to look into as well. Given that she's already managing the Adventure Guild, I understand that
and-
she most likely has to overhear quite a lot and be a
She-
good voice of the public regardless.
She's also Master of Coin for the Nether, so
Hmm.
she has an ear in 2 realms.
Certainly a powerful ally for the court.
Indeed. She is somebody that I am working on becoming close with. Like you, I think that it's hard for Wolfkins at large to be around Shrieklings. And I do not mean to excuse myself from any accountability, but that is precisely why I showed you, I guess, read to you the contract that I did. Because
Right.
I feel like that is where a lot of miscommunication has come from, and it is a burden that I do not mind bearing, especially when it comes to keeping Wolfkins safe. I don't wish to cause any more harm, but having the understanding that the order came from within your origin hopefully help clear some things up.
I won't lie, it will take further thought. I suppose the wound is still fresh, but
Mm.
I think it will, yes.
Good. To have complete transparency, as you already know, Paige has been named a potential heir, hopefully a full heir, if we can work some things out.
Hmm.
I am not in the safest position when it comes to Paige.
How so?
She currently, under no control of her own, mind you, wants me dead.
Hmm.
So, having another night would not be for, I guess, without
Just
some
cool.
of my own not premise. I struggle for words sometimes. it wouldn't be without having my own interest at mine in heart.
Right. And even though she, I suppose, is vulnerable to, you said, under no control of her own, but if that's an opportunity that can open, I personally would not leave them in any position of power relating to me, especially in air. She would have
Exactly.
both, even if out of her control, in control, she may have her own interests at mind. I'm not sure the full gravitas of the situation, but
Mm.
you still
That's-
are aiming to have her take place as an heir.
I'm hoping with the position that she is in currently and where she is at and who she is being watched by, that it is something that can be rectified. But it is a precarious situation, as we had just mentioned making her heir, that we find out about this curse, and it seems interestingly timed.
Certainly.
So,
Plenty to think about, I suppose.
indeed, I want you to have the full transparency as you walk into this position, because it does
course.
not come without its own dangers.
And I wish to put what I have forward as well. Full transparency.
Mm.
You two are, I believe, past myself, Sundew, and I believe on first encounter she brought some of the Endirian officials there, but none of them had thought to stash a waystone, at least as far as I'm aware. You two should be some of the first overworlders to enter that stronghold, besides myself. I hope that stands as a mark of trust.
Well, I mean, you showed me your bed.
It
It is.
was part of my dwelling, yes.
It's takes a great deal of, I don't want to say trust, but there's not a better word for it, to show somebody where you eat and sleep.
Understand.
And you got a
Regardless,
mailbox.
well, I certainly have had my holdbacks and hesitations. I still wish to set my best foot forward, and I believe that trust can be granted until reason is given not to. So
That's-
far, you've done nothing but be a helping hand and provided.
That's actually very similar to what Oliver says. Everyone can be a friend until they give reason not to be.
Precisely. Like you were saying with Sundew, I set my best foot forward there, and she is given now a reason to second guess that.
I am more pessimistic, I'm afraid. I struggle to trust until given a reason to do so. So
Given your
you've-
role, that entirely makes sense.
you've taken large steps in that area, at least. So
It's the least I can do.
Hmm.
Regardless, I don't wish to take any more of your night. Assume that there is much to do.
today
And-
has been one of the busier days I've had, indeed.
I apologize to add on to that with all
No,
of the headache that this is.
don't apologize. My
It was much
citizens are
needed.
my first priority,
Thank you.
of course.
Should you need any elaboration, just let me know. I would hand over the book that I had jotted down my notes into, but I don't think it would do all too much.
That's okay. If we need to, we can work on transcribing it together.
Of course. You two
I
take care.
appreciate you. You too.
Page signed over. Wolfkin writes. Well, not exactly her, but her mother, her family. Given standard operation, that would imply follows suit. Roina, a pleasure.
Oh, oh, you actively scared me. Hi.
I apologize, I was just exiting a
No worries.
quite long-winded meeting, and I didn't expect to see you here is all. Greetings.
I'm just visiting Kainite.
Huh. Hope that treats you well.
Oh,
Ah, we have similar destinations.
I do think Kainite is not here though.
I'm looking for Paige. You two had some sort of bond going, right?
Um,
Do you know if she is around?
I can't. Yeah, I think she's home.
Well, if you would like to visit, hello.
Oh, excuse me.
No worries.
That she's. I don't know when you last saw her.
I'm not sure myself. It's with civility. Need to prod for more information, not attack or come off with hostility. Good evening.
I suppose. Why are you here?
I simply wanted to talk. I haven't exactly ran into you any time recently.
I see.
And I've been thinking about. We had say, while back, a few months ago, I came over and we drank together, if you recollect. You mind if I come in? I feel awkward standing outside to discuss. I just wanted to clarify a few things about that night.
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression that, at least my understanding, I thought I came off clear. I had just placed my... I placed possession on some alcohol, and I hadn't had any before. I trusted to drink it with another Wolfkin. However, I was relayed that you saw it differently, and I wanted to make sure we're on the same page there. I was told that you viewed it as me trying to extract information out of you.
That is how it came off, yes.
I apologize that it came off as such. It was not at all my intention. As I'm sure may be obvious, I'm not exactly the most strong-suited in socialization or interpersonal connections. I, in fact, don't remember much of that night, if that helps any.
I did not think you did. After all, you got very inebriated.
However, something was brought up to me today, and it does ring a bell. I believe we discussed it that night. Something regarding your mother.
And what was brought up?
A certain contract. I just simply wish to, I suppose, get some elaboration. I'm not sure exactly how much I can trust the party that explained this to me. And so I wish to get the point of view from both sides.
Yes, my mother signed a contract that allowed the forcible drafting of the Wolfkin into the war.
And that's all to it. You don't have any defense or recourse.
That is what she did.
And what do you think of it? Of her?
It does not matter my opinion on a matter.
I suppose I ask as well as a friend. Much as I hesitate to use the word, I've not exactly solidified what it means necessarily. As I've mentioned, I'm not the most strong suited with talking or making acquaintances.
I do not have friends.
I would say about the same. I ask your thoughts on your mother, as my father was very strongly believed. He definitely had the opinion that family is to be trusted, and by extension, a fellow Wolfkin, no matter where, is an ally. That's why I broached the drinking with you. I view you as an ally, if not friend. However, in time since, I've grown to see that he was wrong on a number of things. And I imagine that sort of thing may be common. Hence why I ask your opinion on your mother. Not to imply that you've had the same experience as me, but
That was one of the only things I disagreed with her on.
disagreed past tense. She's not around anymore.
No,
Suppose that makes two of us.
my mother told me all Wolfkins were savages.
And that's not one that you disagreed with her on?
That was one of my failings. I was too Wolfkin.
Do you still view yourself as such?
I do not know.
I believe we're naturally scattered. We have never, even just within the scope of influence I have right now, I believe I'm plenty different in relation to my Wolfkin heritage from you, or from Fiore, or Oliver. I believe, as an origin, we're plenty scattered, so well, some of us certainly, I wouldn't be shocked to find living savagely.
Hmm.
I don't believe that that would be all of them. So if it's any solace, I wouldn't worry about if you're too Wolfkin. I don't think being Wolfkin is any one thing.
Perhaps. I did learn how to be a Wolfkin from my family's ancestral pack. Perhaps I could teach you something sometime.
To exchange culture certainly would be interesting. I'm not sure how much I would be able to provide. I lived in caves for far too long. But yes, it would be good to talk, I presume. Regardless, it's been a long and busy night for me. I imagine that running all of this that you have is about the same.
It can be.
I appreciate your time. Take care. Interesting. There's certainly a shift in her demeanor. I could see what the High Vessel is meaning to say with things being outside of her control. She seems cold. Although perhaps I've caught her at good times. Or perhaps this is a bad time. Be sure to say. I know that the Shriekling Knight, Arlo, did make it a point to grab that. But if I'm to maintain a feign of trust, then that will need to stay. To strip them of access would be unfair. Or perhaps entirely fair, but show any sign of distrust, and I need them to think that I am fully on board with them. Much to consider. Quite planned that she would try and worm her way back in so soon. Interesting. I'm not particularly in a state where I'm available either. Damn. I need insight she may be able to provide. Damn. The box could very well be from her. Scrap. Open air. Interesting choice. How did I want to broach this again? With a warmth in my voice, I believe. I believe I wanted to present a gentler side. I know now that there's no trust. So I needn't worry about breaking it. I didn't want to build a association without trust. However, evidently she lacks. Discuss none of the matter. We'll sit down for drinks. That will be all. Why is... Good evening.
Hi.
I trust you've been well.
I've been doing okay.
Good.
What about you?
I've made the best of what I have.
Did you get the items?
Which items?
The ones I asked Ragnar to give you.
Yes, I did receive them.
Do they work well?
They're certainly an upgrade.
That's good. How have things been here?
Fine enough. I've had to settle into a bit more of a quiet place. This whole situation has brought a lot of tension and unease, as you could imagine.
Right. I'm sorry.
You're just a blacksmith. I brought this around for you.
Thanks. Oh dear. Yeah. But, some of the tension in the end has gone down.
On to the next problem of the week.
And thankfully there hasn't been another one.
I don't expect that they would lose such passion unless they were merely seeking to make a scapegoat out of me.
No, no.
Unless you've already discussed with them.
I don't know what's going to happen. So.
As far as I would understand, they would still believe that a portal is active, and if not, it would fall onto you, for you're the only one that saw it destroyed. You could still be lying to them. They wouldn't have any way of knowing. I suppose I just struggle to see how the tensions would fall.
I don't know. I guess. This really doesn't. I guess this situation plays into it a little, but. Have you heard about. Besides the portal situation, have you heard anything else that's happened in my realm?
No, I don't particularly keep myself in the business of other realms. I have my own to worry about.
Well, before the whole confrontation and that day, do you remember when I came by to the Stronghold and I just needed to come by for a hot minute?
I believe that's happened a few times, but yes.
That day I learned the heir in our kingdom passed away. And the funeral was recently. And that situation doesn't totally explain the slight animosity I even felt from my fellow Enderians that day, but I guess all of us are on edge.
Not to shift blame onto you by any means, more so your officials. But it's alarming if they would let even a death in the family affect them to that degree. To attack a citizen of another realm with such hostility and less than legal basis seems foolish.
No, and that
Reckless.
doesn't excuse the behavior. I understand. But a lot of things happened that day. So just gotta live with what happened, I guess.
What we do.
I don't know how much longer all this whole situation will last. And I didn't want to contact you too soon because I didn't want to bring any more trouble. So, but it was relatively calm today, so I took the risk of coming here.
Frankly, I don't expect that it will blow over anytime soon at this rate.
I suppose not.
especially with the added context. 3 emissaries from another realm come into your realm, begin to attack one of your citizens on something not covered by any law, while claiming it as law, attacking them for their origin when your entire platform is preaching equality and peace among the origins. This doesn't bode well, is my thought. This goes against everything so far that the High Vessel appears to stand for. I worry that in their hubris they may have made this a much, much larger issue than simply allowing me time.
I can't say anything.
You've not received any further word from your officials?
I have informed them of all the knowledge, not everything, but what I witnessed, and that's about it. Whether they choose to believe me or not is up to them. So, yeah. And, I know this is probably a horrible, maybe not a great timing to ask this, but, and I know the end is probably, definitely is most likely not your favorite, realm right now. Yeah, after all what happened. And I don't blame you. But, we're holding a festival on Sunday. For everyone to come. Has games and food, and a lot of people might show up. Kimonos only. So, that's what one of the signs at the billboard down there says. It's called the Star Festival. Yeah.
I'll have to pass.
Okay.
The last thing that I need right now is to walk right into wherever a bunch of Endirians are. Seems either what I'm asking for is another tour, or to get pressed and to learn how they really feel. but all that it seems to offer. And if this is in relation to your duties as a advisory, I wouldn't
No,
worry about that for the time being.
No, I offered because I just thought it might be fun to have you around, but I understand you wouldn't want to go, so but that's all. And
When I'm not living in horror that the Enderian kingdom is going to invade the overworld again and take me out of it with my head on a pike.
what do you mean again?
You already invade right in, stamp right in front of the castle to interrogate and attack.
That's
Not you, that is. However, once I can be confident, then maybe I will allow myself to step foot in Enderian soil again. But until I can be sure that this is over and resolved, I have no interest in re-entry.
okay.
A pivot, certainly. He's desperate. I intended to come in with confidence. And while I did, it's evident that by the shake in her voice and the evident sadness she feels, the ignorance of her position, rather opting to offer it in the name of fun. She seeks friendship. If I'm to simply bend the knee and hand it right over to her, I play right to her hand. I come off as the subservient dog that she's expecting. That any of those Enderians are expecting. For now, she can keep her hand reached out. And in time, with her allowed a space to think, I may turn things around. Until then, I have no need to.